You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the January 18th, 2023 meeting of the LaPorte County Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Is Wednesday, January 18th. First, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Auditor, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Merzinski,
Present.
Commissioner Haney,
Present.
and Commissioner Grammarosa.
Present.
All three are present.
Thank you. Next, we consider the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
I'd like to add, I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda. Under 6A, payroll ending, we have 0006-2023. We need to change it to 0106-23. And then under new business, consider courthouse completion committee.
Very good. Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor of amending the agenda as amended?
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right. Mr. Auditor, consideration of claims, please.
Minutes? No.
Oh, yes. My apologies. Next, we have the, I'm sorry, jumping ahead one. Consider approval of the January 4th, 2023 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any comment? Very good. All right. So all those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Very good. Thank you. Next, we have the consideration of claims. Thank you, Mr. Auditor.
Commissioners, we have claims for payroll ending in the period 0106-2023 in the amount of $1,489,689.14. And we have operating expense claims in the amount of $200,700.87.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to accept to approve the claims as presented.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right. Very good. Any discussion? Very good. All right. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Very good. All right. Next, we have public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak at this time?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, Rick Kentaff, 324 Box Street, City of LaPorte. I was in front of the commission at your first meeting. I asked a question then concerning our new county attorney, and you didn't answer the question. And I see that on your agenda is the contract for Jones Law Offices. At that time, I asked if the county attorney is going to be paid travel time coming from St. Joe County to these meetings. I'm going to ask that question again. Is he going to be paid travel time to attend these meetings?
Generally, we don't use public comment for Q&A, but in this instance, I will say no. He will. Their offices will not be paid for travel from South Bend to here.
Okay, so he's just going to be paid when he's at the meeting. All right, thank you. Okay. I have another question. I feel that as a public, as the taxpayers, and you guys are public servants, which I pointed out at our last meeting, the only way we can get questions answered is if we're in front of you. The agenda here says that you're going to consider a contract for Wright and Associates LLC for engineering services for the MS4 related items. Does that mean you're going to eliminate the MS4 director position?
Just going into Q&A.
We'll during that we'll discuss that when the contract.
So I can come back up and ask that question when you're going to do that? Is that allowable? Because how else are we going to get these questions answered?
Well, my phone line and email is always open.
This is what we're a taxpayer.
Sure.
right? So how are we going to get these questions answered if you're not going to answer the questions when wherever you work for us?
That is correct.
All right. So how are we going to get these questions answered if you aren't going to answer questions when we ask them of you?
Public comment is not meant. It's meant for you to have 3 minutes
Okay.
to comment for
All right.
what you
So
are. It's not meant.
the question I have is you're gonna hire an engineering firm for MS4 related items. My question is that contract going to be more than the $61,000 salary that the other MS4 director position had? So if it's going to be more than what the prior position was paying, we as the taxpayers are going to have a problem with that. The other question I have is I have the minutes from the April 25th meeting of council meeting, April 25th, 2022. And on page 10, there was a discussion raising the salary for that position up to $61,000. Then I have the minutes from the May 18th meeting for the county commissioners, which you were a part of. And it said on page 3 of that meeting that you guys interviewed, there was 3 people interviewed for that position. 1 was internal and 2 were external applicants. After all 3 people were interviewed, the person that was interviewed and given the position, all 3 of you commissioners voted unanimously to give that person the job. It was never an appointed position. It was a direct hire position. You're saying that's false?
The MS4 position is and has been an appointed position.
Job description doesn't say it's appointed. I've got the job description. When did it become an appointed position?
It's always been any policymaking positions under Indiana state code and law are appointed positions.
Job description doesn't say that. The person before wasn't appointed every year.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kentaff. Do you have anything else? Is there anyone else for public comment? Is there anyone on Zoom for public comment? All right, seeing no one else for public comment. All right, very good. Public comment is closed. We'll now move on to department head comments. Any department heads?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Marika Beatty, LaPorte County Community Corrections, and I'm here to present the TREX, or Tax Refund Exchange and Compliance System. I met with our county attorney to look over the contract for the TREX system. It's basically an accountability tool, whereas when individuals do not pay their fees at community corrections, we then have the authority to go after their income taxes. And so it has to be signed by our governing body. So I'm here to present that to you all, and I have some information if I can approach.
Sure.
And I'll note for the record that it did meet my approval.
It did. Was it, does this fall under a contract that needs to be agended and noticed ahead of time?
It does not.
Okay, thank you. All right,
And that's it.
that's it. All right, very good.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept.
Very good. We have a motion to accept the Trex contract
Second.
and a second. Very good. All right. Any further discussion, questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of accepting and signing the Trex contract here for Director Beatty? Aye.
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 All right, opposed? Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any other department heads who wish to speak this time? Department heads on Zoom? All right, nice and quick this evening. All right, very well. Next, we'll move on to requests. I don't see any requests on here. All right. Old business. It doesn't look like we have any old business here to address this evening either. Next, we have consider the sheriff's contract for garage contract for UniFirst. Sheriff Heeg.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ron Heek, Sheriff. I come to you this evening with a couple of just first of the year normal housekeeping items. The first one is our garage contract for uniform maintenance and floor mat maintenance through UniFirst. services. This has gone through the county attorney, which has presented his approval. If I can get your support on this as well.
So moved.
We have a motion to accept accept the Sheriff's Garage UniFirst contract. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. We have a motion second. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. The second item that we have on the agenda tonight is for our food service agreement with Tiger Correctionals, who we're contracted under with. As you can imagine, with the cost of food and everything else going up, there's an addendum to the prices that we're going to pay per meal for the inmates. We're fortunate that this is the first raise that we've seen over the last 2 years, so we're not surprised by this. We've kind of been expecting it, and it did come our way. Again, this has been sent to the county attorney and has met his approval as well.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. President, if I may, I've got
Yes.
signatures for you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, excellent. Next, we have this is an item that we're kind of revisiting here. It's a consider a hold harmless agreement with Woodruff and Sons. I believe Mitch Bishop was going to be on the line here.
Can you hear me, Joe?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Yeah, you are correct. This was discussed, I believe, in your November or December meeting in 2022. At that time, the previous attorney drafted an email with 4 or 5 different sentences on that email, and it was signed by all 3 commissioners. However, Woodruff did not accept that. They wanted a more formalized agreement for the hold harmless, and that's what's in front of you tonight. And you're all aware of the project, subsurface drainage project down Nowak Drive, County Road 75 West, south to Kingsbury Creek. This is for the last 800 to 1,000 feet of pipe. It narrows the right of way in that area, so we have to purchase a little bit smaller pipe. And this is the hold harmless to contractor if he does enter private property. This, like I say, is more formalized document. I sent it not only to yourself and the other commissioners, but also your new attorney. I didn't hear anything back, so I assume it's okay on our end. And I just once it's signed, only yourself needs to sign it, Joe. I will run that to Woodruff, and they can order the new pipe and get the project completed.
Sure.
Motion to approve.
May I be heard?
Yes, please, Counsel.
Mr. Bishop, I should add that I reached out to Commission President Haney when I received this hold harmless agreement. I didn't see any issues with it. I just wanted to make sure before we went through the process of approving this at a commission meeting that it was adequate for Woodruff's purposes. Has Woodruff communicated to us that this is adequate?
So roughly 2 weeks ago, this is what they said they wanted.
Okay.
But then they wanted to have their attorney review it as well. And that has yet to be done. Or they have yet to get back to me with their attorney review.
I would suggest this be tabled until we get a final version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would hate to have to do this third time.
So Mr.
I agree with that.
Mrzinski has a motion on the floor.
He does. Would Commissioner Mrzinski, would you like to either change that to a table or just withdraw it?
Yeah, we'll table it.
I'll second.
All right, very good. We have a motion and a second to table this for now. We'll revisit it at a future meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Mr. Bishop, if you could send me, if there's any corrections to this or changes proposed by Woodruff, if you could send them to me, I would greatly appreciate it so I can review it before the next commission meeting.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, we have consider resolution 2022-6. Actually seeing here that this is actually just 2022-06. It didn't actually give what this was. I apologize for that. We'll endeavor to make sure that there's some better language associated with some of these agendas as they go out forward. You'll bear with us here as we're working out the kinks of kind of reestablishing and resetting some of this stuff. So 2206. For the public's edification, was a resolution that we passed back on July 6, 2022. It was ordering Lockmuller, who was contracted by the county, to study a route for a proposed corridor around the city of LaPorte. One of the concerns that I had when we did this first resolution, that at the time I was my concerns were attempted to be allayed by the former attorney, was that by passing this resolution, we possibly jeopardize the grant money that we received to do the study about a possible corridor. So, speaking with more experts over the past couple of months, it looks like that if we don't complete the study as it was presented in the grant money that was approved for it, both the city of LaPorte and the county of LaPorte could be on the hook for a couple $100,000 that we would have to repay for the grant. So it would be my intention to just repeal resolution 2022-6. So we go forward with that, get it completed, and then the taxpayers don't wind up on the hook for that. Just because we complete the study does not mean that we have to act on any of the findings. It just provides us the information that we need, and also make sure that the taxpayers aren't on the hook for a couple $100,000. So is there anyone have any discussion on that before we move forward?
So this is not supporting, this is just allowing us to go through the study, to finish out the study.
Correct. So by repealing this, they'll be able to return back to the original scope of work that the grant was approved for, and we won't jeopardize our status there and risk losing those funding. I think the city of LaPorte would be on the hook for about $100,000, and the county would be, I think, 170, if I remember correctly. Those are rough numbers. Those are pretty close, but it's about $250,000 that the taxpayers between the city and the county would be on the hook for if we jeopardize this grant and we don't complete it. So
I'd like to make a motion to repeal 2022-6.
I will abstain.
okay, I will then second that motion. Do we have any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of repealing, make sure I get the number right, resolution 2022-6.
Aye.
And opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain. All right, very good. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have consider out-of-state travel for Erica Stallworth in March 2023. It's been approved by Judge Alavisos. I think we all saw the email on that. It's pretty straightforward. It's for some training.
Motion to approve.
Very good. All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Next, we have consider a contract with Wright & Associates LLC for engineering services for MS4 related items. So there was a scope of work that was drawn up while we are engaging a professional engineer to do some of our on-site inspections for MS4 and those reporting requirements for that for the time being, as we're rebuilding our MS4 department and building that up. We don't want any lapses to fall as far as any companies that are doing anything, so we're engaging these services. And because of some of the ongoing issues that have been occurring kind of throughout the county, having a professional engineer at the discounted rate here is certainly going to be a help to make sure that we know exactly what's going on the ground at some of these sites. And I believe it'll help us move forward. I think everybody should have got a copy of that.
So I'd like to make,
Pleasure of the board.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second? Good. I will second that then. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, and our attorney has reviewed this contract. You're good with it? All right, very good. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right, thank you. All right, next on the list we have consider contract for Jones Law Offices. For the public, we appointed the Jones Law Office as county attorney at our first meeting of the year. The contract, we need to put that in the agenda to be advertised, and unfortunately, the outgoing administration didn't allow that to be set on our agenda. So we have it here today for consideration. Trust everybody's had a chance to go through it. Have any questions before we call for a motion? To lay some other concerns, there will be no travel costs between the Jones Law Firm and coming to LaPorte County for these meetings, for example. So, and anyone who would like a copy of this is more than feel free to email myself or our new executive assistant, and we will get you a copy of that. Upon request, feel free.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Good. All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Sorry.
Aye.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I apologize. All right. Very good. All right. 3 ayes. Thank you. All right. Next, we have consider a resolution establishing the Center for Economic Development, Planning, and Governmental Affairs. This is another item that we had to hold over for this meeting just to make sure we had it agendaed properly.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. And I will second it. For the record, I'm just going to read this into the record here quickly under discussion here. Whereas the need for a highly intensive, coordinated, and energized economic development effort to recruit new business activity is a priority, and whereas there is a demonstrated need for a single point of contact for business developers, site locators, and infrastructure improvements supporting the growth of business and commerce throughout LaPorte County, and whereas coordinated efforts related to the long-term planning, engineering, and infrastructure investments are critical to the future success of LaPorte County, and whereas LaPorte County shall consolidate departments and staff for a more efficient and effective use of resources, and whereas the undersigned believe that the creation of a Center for Economic Development, Planning, and Governmental Affairs with its own dedicated office space, consultants, and staffing is an important step used to signal to existing businesses and business prospects that county government is creating a single office for those seeking information and assistance with planning, engineering, zoning, land use, infrastructure, job training, targeted tax incentives, and other related site assistance. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the LaPorte County Board of Commissioners that there is hereby created a LaPorte County Center for Economic Development, Planning, and Governmental Affairs, and that office space in the county annex or surrounding buildings will be designated and assigned immediately. And 2, the Center for Economic Development, Planning, and Governmental Affairs shall work with and cooperate with local economic development corporations, city and town governments, labor and business leaders in the sharing of leads, business prospects, and will be the key point of contact for business decision makers and site locators seeking assistance in LaPorte County. And that would be passed and adopted this day of January 2023. Do we have any further discussion? All right. I would just like to say that as we're reconstituting and rebuilding this department, I believe it's important for any organization, any structure, to have a solid base. And bringing together a fresh group with a good outlook and vision forward to work with all the municipalities in the county, from Michigan City all the way down to La Crosse, every single where in between, is going to be crucial. Getting that synergy together will really help drive and move LaPorte County forward. We're going to chase those grants that we haven't, and we are really going to dive deep into really pushing LaPorte County forward and making sure that everybody knows that not just is Indiana the place to come for business and to live, but also right here in LaPorte County. So with that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Thank you. All right, very good. Next, we have consider a contract for AME Consulting for services related to economic development, planning, and governmental affairs. Trust everybody's had a chance to look to go ahead and look through this. Oh, I have. Mr. Vincent, we'd like to say a few words.
Yeah, I just want to introduce myself, Paul Vincent with AME Consulting. Really excited about the opportunity. Commissioner Haney did a great job of describing kind of our vision and what we want to do as a group. We're hoping that here in the first month or so, we can kind of get our plan and organization and strategy kind of locked in with good work with you guys. And from that point, just kind of see some growth throughout the county in a bunch of different areas. Our background specializes in engineering as well as planning, and then we have grant writers on staff that have done a fantastic job over many, many years of securing many different grants for a lot of different communities, and we're anxious to kind of bring some of those results here to LaPorte County.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vincent. I think you touched on a couple of key points there. Is that your organization has the background and all the various facets to be able to, especially if you see a project coming in, to be able to look at it with your knowledge and your base, not just of what grants may be available for this or that, but also a little bit of engineering a lot of engineering background, I should say, and all these various components to really bring things together. And I'm really excited for what we have in store.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and welcome to the team.
All right. Do we have any further discussion? All right. All those in favor of adopting the contract for AME Consulting for Economic Development, Planning, and Government Affairs? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Thank you. And that brings us to our last item here. Consider the Courthouse Completion Committee. So as we're for the public, as we're wrapping up our courthouse, we're closing in rapidly on our 1 year date for a 1 year warranty, if you will, on the courthouse up there for the structure, building improvements, things like that. I think it would be extremely important and if not crucial to make sure that we have a good oversight on that. So hopefully we can get all those items taken care of before our warranty runs out. And with that in mind, I would entertain a motion to and I guess technically as president I could just create a committee, but I would rather do it as a board with one commissioner, the director of IT, and the director of facilities to kind of oversee these last several weeks here as we move forward.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Very good. We have a motion to approve. I will second that. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, our committee is formed. Commissioner Grammarosa, would you have a preference on the commissioner who would be on there?
Yes, I would like to serve.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, very good. Then, in that case, the commission's appointment to that will be Commissioner Grammarosa. Very good. All right. Seeing nothing left, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.